How about a nice, warm welcome from Mr. J. Jennings?
John Mendoza, folks. Give it up. Well, I'm going to take these next few minutes to tell you a little bit about myself, and maybe after the show you can all tell me something about yourselves, and I'll pretend to care. Like many of you, I'm from Seattle, and that's where my parents still live. Anybody have parents? I'm 29, I'm single, and I'm an Aries. But right now I am single by choice. Women choose to not date me. But that's okay, because I always end up with crazy girlfriends. It's terrible. I was dating this one girl, and we're in bed one night, and she looks at me and she says, you know, I think you have a great dick. And I'm like, hey, all right, at first. But I'm insecure, so I start thinking to myself, well, what makes my dick so great? And I want to find out, but you ask a couple of guys at the gym to compare erections, and it's all banned from crunch for life. And then I started thinking to myself, well, how many dicks would a person have to see to consider mine great? And then it dawns on me, I must be dating a prostitute again. But you can't just accuse someone of being a prostitute, so I decide I'll follow her to work. So I wait outside her house, and I follow her to an elementary school. Apparently she's prostituting herself out to school children. I mean, no wonder she thinks I have a great dick. She's comparing it to a 10-year-old. So I burst into the room where she's teaching, and I whip down my pants and I say, hey, take a good look, whore, because you're not going to see this great dick anymore! And of course, that's the last time I can come within 100 yards of her or her first grade class. Then I was dating this other girl, right? And she had implants. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, hey, your dick, her implants. What a deal. Well, she had vagina implants. So it was huge, right? Every time we had sex, I had to strap on a watermelon just so she'd feel something. I went down on her once. I found her ex-boyfriend in there. True story. But I shouldn't complain about being single in Los Angeles because there's worse places to be single, folks, trust me. A few years ago, I was living in Alaska because that's what all the hip college kids were doing. And it's really weird up there, first of all, because there's a whole other culture of people you have to deal with. And I've been there a few weeks. My friend pulls me aside one day, and he says, Jay, the correct term for these people is Inuit. And I'm like, oh. Because up until then, I've been calling them dirty little ice people. But like I'm saying, being single up there sucked, because there's two jobs you can have, and neither of them impress women. I get the first job. I'm at a bar one night, I walk up to this girl, I'm like, hey, Inuit lady, do you know how to get blood out of fur? I got like 20 dolphins caught in my tuna nets today. Boy, I had to chop them up just to get them out of the nets, huh? Oh, I thought they were the smart fish. So I lost that job. I got the job though, same results. I'm at a bar one night, talking to this girl, I'm like, man, my shoulders are killing me. I must have clubbed 30 baby seals today. Boy, I still got the screaming in my ears. They sound like children, So I live in LA now, and I'm a comedian. And people always ask me, did you always want to be a comedian? And truthfully, no. As a kid, I wanted to be a rock star. But I never learned to play an instrument, so there you go. But I did find out recently, I don't know if you know this or not, a lot of rock stars started out as comedians. Very interesting. Eddie Vedder was a comedian once. His act's very similar. It's a guy walks into a bar, orders 5 shots of tequila. Oh yeah. And of course there was Neil Young. So what's the deal with the airline food? It tastes like crap and the service is rude. Gone, gone, my peanuts are gone. Oh, thank you, please. Okay, we're going to stay with the impressions part of the show for a few more minutes here. As you may not know, Vincent van Gogh once cut off his ear to impress a woman. Here's my impression of Vincent van Gogh the next morning. may not know, Noah Webster wrote the dictionary. Here's my impression of Noah Webster with writer's block. Honey, what's another word for thesaurus? And finally, here's my impression of my ex-boss. Oh, I'm a fucking moron! I don't know how to run a business. I'll just hire incompetent people and fire Jay. Duh! It looked just like it. Folks, we're in the middle of a war on terror, and I know that everyone in this room has the same question on their minds. How is this going to affect globalization? I know. And admittedly, I'm torn on the issue. When they let China into the World Trade Organization, I was like, on the one hand, I'm not really big on their human rights issues. But on the other hand, I love Chinese food, so I'll let them in. You know, when people told me about the World Trade Organization, they always referred to it as the WTO. So I thought it was this like great political wrestling scheme. You know, I thought I'd turn on TV, Michael Buff would be there. He'd be like, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Madison Square Garden, home of tonight's WTO SmackDown World Rumble! We have a great set of grudge matches coming up for you, starting with Brazil versus the United States. Here's what Brazil said earlier today. United States, you may have favored nation status, but your draconian anti-dumping laws don't scare me! My exported steel will find its way to your shores, just as my patented Rio de Janeiro will find its way to your skull! Well, strong words from Brazil. And as always, Brazil will be accompanied by the lovely Uruguay. In our main event, it's old versus new, as Cold War casualty, the former Soviet Union, takes on current-day communism in the form of the People's Republic of China. Here's what the Soviet Union said earlier today. You know, when communism fell, I hit all-time low. But then I looked up, and I heard all my Balkan maniacs, and they told me to rain terror on the People's Republic and turn the Great Wall of China into the Great Mall of Free Trade. It's going to be pandemonium with the WTO SmackDown World Rumble!